Talmud Bavli, Tractate Beitzah, page 33. Lamed Gimel, Amud Aleph, top of the page, with the words V'chein Bayasa, V'chein Kedera, etc. And similarly, if one wishes to place eggs on the mouth of a hollow vessel, or on a grill sitting above coals, he must first hold the vessel in his hands and put the eggs on it, and only afterward position them both on the coals. And similarly, with regard to a pot placed on barrels, one must hold the pot above the barrels before placing them underneath it. And similarly, in the case of a collapsible bed, whose legs and cover are separate pieces, one must first stretch the upper part and then the legs. And similarly, in the case of barrels, position one on top of the other, the upper one must be held in place first, and then the others added below. It was taught in the Mishnah, and one may not prop a pot with a piece of wood, and similarly a door. The Gemara asks, with regard to a door, can this enter your mind? Is it possible to prop a pot by means of a door? Rather, say, and correct the wording as follows. And similarly, one may not prop a door with a piece of wood. The sages taught, one may not prop a pot with a piece of wood, and similarly a door, as wood is to be used only for kindling. With regard to any other than any use other than kindling, wood is considered muktzah. And Rabbi Shimon, who does not accept the prohibition of muktzah, permits it. The Beitzah continues, one may not lead an animal with a stick on a festival. But Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, permits it. The Gemara asks, shall we say that Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, holds in accordance to the opinion of his father Rabbi Shimon, who is not of the opinion that there is a prohibition of muktzah? And he therefore permits one to and therefore he permits one to and therefore he permits one to. Hello, D. Where are you? And therefore he permits one to take any stick and lead an animal with it. The Gemara rejects this. No. There is no issue of muktzah here at all. For in this case, even Rabbi Shimon concedes to the first Tana that this activity is prohibited, not due to muktzah, but because one who does so looks like one who is going to the market. Oh. in the manner of a weekday. On a festival, one must therefore lead the animal in an unusual fashion. In a case where one takes a bamboo branch to use as a skewer, Rav Nachman prohibits it because it is muktzah. Since it was not made into a vessel the day before, and Rav Sheshet permits it. The Gemara elaborates, in the case of a wet branch, everyone agrees that it is prohibited. It is unfit for kindling, and therefore muktzah. When they disagree, it is in the case of a dry branch. If you were this way in the wet tree, what about in the dry? The one who prohibits handling it, Rav Nachman could have said to you, wood is only good for kindling. No, wood is only for kindling, but it is considered muktzah with regard to any other use. And the one who permits handling it, Rav Sheshet, could have said to you, since all wood is being used for roasting, what is it to me to roast it when it is inserted into meat? What is it to me to roast it in coals? Yeah? Just as it is permitted to burn the bamboo as coal, so it is permitted to use as a skewer for cooking. Nice. Beitzah 33a. Some say a different version of the explanation of this dispute. In the case of a dry branch, everyone agrees that it's permitted when they disagree in the case of a wet one. Okay. 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 Oh. Where are we holding? The case of a wet one. Right? Right? Let's finish up here. In the case of a dry branch, everyone agrees is permitted when it is always a wet one. The one who prohibits handling it does so because it is not fit for kindling, and the one who permits it could have said to you, isn't it at least fit for a large fire, which will dry out the branch and enable it to burn as well? The Gemara concludes, and the halacha is that a dry one is permitted and a wet one is prohibited. Rava taught a woman may not enter a storehouse of wood in order to take from them a firebrand, a partly burnt piece of wood used for turning over the wood of the bonfire, because this piece of wood was not made into a vessel the day before, and it is therefore called muktzah. And a firebrand that broke, may not be kindled on a festival. For one may kindle fire with vessels, but one may not kindle fire with shards of vessels. And this firebrand was considered a vessel before it broke. The Gemara asks, is that to say that in this case Rav holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who is of the opinion that there is a prohibition of muktzah, but didn't Rava say to his attendant, roast a duck for me and throw its innards to the cat? According to Rabbi Yehuda, it is prohibited to give the innards to animals as they were not prepared for this purpose the day before. The Gemara answers there, since the innards become rancid when they are left from yesterday, the festal eve, his mind was on them. At that point in time, he already intended to give them to the cats in his house. New Mishnah. Alright, and that is the end of that. New Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer says on a festival a person may remove a sliver from a pile of straw or from similar material that is before him in order to clean with it between his teeth. And he may collect straw from a courtyard and kindle it, for anything in a courtyard is considered prepared for all purposes. The rabbis say he may collect these materials only from things placed before him in his house, and they are certainly prepared for all uses, and kindle them. With regard to objects lying in his courtyard, however, as their collection takes good effort, he certainly did not have them in mind the day before, and they are therefore muktzah. The Mishnah states in a different halakha, one may not produce fire, neither from wood, by rubbing one piece against another, nor from stones, knocked against each other, nor from hot dirt, nor from tiles struck against each other, nor from water placed in round glass vessels, which produces fire by focusing the rays of the sun. And similarly, one may not whiten tiles with a burning hot heat in order to roast upon them afterward. Gemara, the Talmud says, Rav Yehuda said,